So the new show me and Sai were going to do has been a flop. We have been working on it for a little while now. We made the mistake of recording a whole bunch of stuff ahead of time and then trying to upload it, in which the first one we put up was taken down. Our episodes 1 and 2 were taken down. Our commentary was taken down. So we've decided to say, screw it. We're not going to fight them anymore. Well, we didn't really fight them, but we're not going to try to fight them because obviously they don't want our content up there. That's fine. We have other stuff to do, namely fanfiction reviews. So I got this request for a fanfiction. I can't remember how long ago. The person who requested it was Mr. Salem Zunker. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And there is a certain suspiciousness that when someone gives me a fanfiction to review, that when I see it, I'm suspicious that it's their own fanfiction. They're just trying to get the word out there. Now, there's absolutely no problem with that, but I mean, still, I would prefer if people didn't do that. So I read the fanfic, and I decided, you know what, regardless, I'm going to review this thing because, to put it lightly, this piece of fiction makes Sweet Apple Massacre look like a college-level essay. Yeah. Okay, so the fic is called, I'm sorry, it's on fanfiction, not femfiction, so this is kind of weird. I can't find the title. Oh, there it is. It's called Kept in the Dark. It's written by someone named Superuser Soul, and right after that, Superuser Soul, if you happen to be watching this somehow, or if you're the alternate alias of the person who sent it to me, I'm not trying to offend you, but honestly, I have no idea where you decided this is a good story. Now, I looked at the person's profile in order to get kind of more of a gist of the mindset of the person who wrote this. And the person who wrote this says right on their profile, this is going to kind of give away stuff that happens in the story, but that he likes doing underage pregnancy. And he says right on his profile that he doesn't mean like college age, he means like 6-year-old pregnancy. Which, as most of us who have ever, like, picked up a biology textbook, is impossible. Not impossible, improbable. There was a case of a little girl who was 4 years old who got pregnant, not through intercourse, but through a genetic mutation in herself. But usually, it's not a common occurrence. I guess in the world of fiction, anything can happen, so we can kind of give him a little bit of leeway on that. But anyways, let's get to the actual story, if you could call it that. Now, the story is actually divided into 5 paragraphs. It's 1,700 or 1,800 some words, which is alright for a one-shot, but the only problem is that each paragraph should be a chapter in of itself, just because of how vaguely different, or not vaguely, but so different each part is. There are time skips in between each paragraph that are massive to the point where this should be a completely different chapter. So in that sense, it should be let's say it should be a 4-chapter story because the last one isn't that long. It should be a 4-chapter story, each one running about, 500-600 words, 700 maybe. Which is not enough for a chapter, and as such is not enough for a good story. So right off the bat, his length is kind of lacking. As I said before, I know that it's a one-shot, and he's laid it all out prettily like that, but just the way that he wrote it, it's not correct. Or it doesn't seem right to me. I'm sure other people will disagree with me because I am not the almighty fanfic god. Now, continuing on to the actual what the story is about. The story starts with, Scootaloo, well, I guess if you want to read the story first, the link is in the description as usual, but you should know that by now, so you should have paused the video already and gone and looked at it. So, it starts off with Snips and Scootaloo going into the forest, and Snips wants to play a game with Scootaloo. So they go, and they have sex. Yeah. That's, basically the entire first paragraph is them having sex. Now, the thing is, this guy, I think, has a fetish for age play, because I noticed that when actually reading the actual, because the sex is kind of graphic. Not as graphic as you would see in like a smut kind of story, but it's graphic enough. But I've noticed that he focused a lot on how young they were throughout the entirety of this. this constant talking about their ages and it's their first time and all this stuff. It's such a young age. So I think this person has kind of a fetish for age play, which is fine, I guess, as long as you keep that in the world of whatever, fiction. But at the same time, it doesn't make for a good story that you're just having two characters have sex for no real reason. There was no build-up. The sex itself comes within I don't know, like 5-6 sentences in, and the weak kind of reason that is given for them doing this is that Snips found his dad's porno mags. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember Snips, but he's like, jeez, the stupidest thing in the world. Like, as smart as a concrete wall. I think if he found nudie mags, he wouldn't actually know what they were at that point. But, you know what? Whatever. We'll continue on. So, on to the next chapter. It's been a few weeks, and Scootaloo is pregnant. Now, again, you could say that this is just because of pony anatomy. You could say that this is because the person is ignorant, but a few weeks is not enough for someone to realize that they're pregnant. I'm positive that that's it. I'm pretty sure it takes, within like... a few weeks is... How long is a few weeks? It's usually 2. I think 2 is a little short, on the short side. I think it's like 3 to 4-ish. Again, don't quote me, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I'm next to positive that's when you'd find it. And then she goes to Nurse Redheart and blah, 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 and find out that she's pregnant. Now, she's 5 or 6 in the story, which, again, goes back to the whole age play idea of someone being pregnant. Or not even age play, actually. I've been saying that wrong the entire time. It's more of a just watching young characters get pregnant. I don't know if there's a fetish for that, but whatever. Again, as long as you keep it in the realm of fiction, it should be fine. And my tooth hurts a lot. Anyways, back to stuff that matters. So, yeah, so that's basically it. And then the next chapter, she tells Cutie Mark Crusaders, and then they start sucking on her teats for milk, which really doesn't make any sense why they would do that. I think it's because, like... Yeah, they did it because... I want to read the sentence, actually. Actually, I probably shouldn't, but her teats started to lactate, whatever, and then Sweetie and Appleblossom saw it and thought it was gross, and then Sweetie Belle tasted it, but he doesn't explain why she tasted it, and then they decided to drink it, so that's, yeah. So then the final month, Scootaloo gets really horny, because that's what happens when you're pregnant. You get really horny, even though, you're pregnant, and it's kind of weird that you're pregnant in the sense that, you're 6. But she gets really horny, and then she has sex with, snails? Yeah, she has sex with snails. Alright, Snails is a stupid one. Snips is, like, the fat one. But he's pretty stupid, too. I guess that's not as bad, but it's still pretty stupid. And then this thing climaxes in the best ending ever. I don't know if you guys read this, but that her foal is pregnant itself. And then Equestria wouldn't know what hit them next. That sounds literally like a build-up to another story, especially with the end and question marks. So that's a quick rundown for those of you who couldn't bring yourself to read it. That's basically all this story has going for it. Now, when I started reading this story with, like, kind of a childlike hope that maybe I could have found a fan fiction that I could read and actually like and get excited about before, because I haven't actually had something like that in a while. I've been reading some fan fictions. I haven't found any that I've really liked. So I was kind of excited when someone suggested something to me. And then I found out that it was this. And this is not particularly good. Now, while I did not say send me only good fan fiction, I do appreciate the occasional good story once in a while. But since I'm doing this, I guess we'll have to deal with it, kind of thing. So this story, as I said, is bad. It's bad in the sense that it has no substance to it. There's no character arc. There's not even a real problem in it, because the problem is so, like like said in passing conversation. It's not like a horrible thing that Scootaloo has to deal with every day. She has to deal with the stares of people. She doesn't have to deal with, knowing that this could potentially kill her because she is too young to properly deliver a baby. She could, it doesn't focus on any of this. The only thing it seems to focus on is, hey, let's have sex. And then chapter 2, oh, you're pregnant. And then chapter 3, let's have sex. And then chapter 4, let's have sex. And then then the next paragraph is, you're full as pregnant. Which is impossible. That's not how it works, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. Fuck, that's really bad. That's not how it works at all. So, I mean, he can... Now, when I said I compared this to Sweet Apple Massacre in the sense that Sweet Apple Massacre is a lot better, it's because both of these are actually really funny. But they're not funny in the sense of jokes. They're not like, ha, this is funny. Not like one of my favorite fics of all time, Lyra and Bon Bon Odd Jobs 1 and 2. Those were funny because of the situations the characters were in. They were funny because of some of the dialogue between them. They were funny because of how casually the two went around these sexually kind of almost explicit jobs. And just how they just, how when they're doing phone sex, they're playing Battleship with each other. Like, that's a funny scene for characters to be in. These are funny because they're bad. And honestly, that's all it is. But the difference is in how they're bad. Sweet Apple Massacre is bad in the sense that no one would logically do such a thing to someone because it's so over the top. I talked about this in my review. I talked about this in my review with Shadow. All the stuff that Big Mac did to the Cuban Crusaders was over the top for what they did. Like, he wanted peace and quiet, so he murdered and tortured them. That's so out of character, that's so broken, that's so bad. But it's funny because you look at this and say, how could anyone read this and say, yeah, this is going to be good. People are going to like this. So like Sweet Apple Massacre, I think this is a troll fic of someone just trying to make something that is so bad that it's viewed, and people look at it and say, wow, this is bad, but he gets the views from it. Like, he has a couple other stories in some of the other fandoms, but again, it's still, bad. So, like I said, the Sweet Apple Massacre is funny in that sense. This story is funny in the sense that the whole process of what this is going through, what these characters are going through or what this one character, what Scootaloo is going through is just so blatantly, impossible. All of these things lined up together don't make any sense for someone such a young age. I mean, I guess you could argue that maybe in Equestria they're more liberated, but I highly doubt that, and this was never mentioned in the story, and as such, I do not like to assume things like that. Sometimes I give the authors a little bit of leeway, but I think this is a bit too much for me. In my personal opinion, the worst part of the story was Nurse Redheart's character, because she is such a throwaway. She is pointless. She doesn't even have to be in the story. I mean, he included her, but she... Okay, I'm going to explain it real quick. Scootaloo went to the doctor because she was feeling sick, and Nurse Redheart said, "You're pregnant." That's it. That's all she did. She just said she was pregnant. She's not like, hey, how did a 6-year-old fool get pregnant? She didn't say, hey, maybe she was raped. Maybe she was molested. Maybe she was, I don't know, maybe she's going to die because of this. She's like, you're pregnant. Grats. Have fun. Go off into the wide world. I mean, this could have been a halfway decent story if the person had gone through Scootaloo's trials and tribulations, developed her character through realizing that this small mistake has drastic consequences. And Nurse Redheart could have been her mentor and been like, well, not mentor, but her guardian. Been like, we'll get through this. I'll help you. I'll make sure everything's okay. I'll protect you. But he didn't. She's just there to say you're pregnant. That's the only reason she's in this story. And to say that her foal's pregnant at the end. Great. You're really making the big bucks there, Nurse, because, you're not doing anything. I feel crazy right now. Anyways, the reason why I said that Sweet Apple Massacre is better than this at the beginning of this fic is solely based on the reason that Mindless Grimdark is, in my personal opinion, better than Mindless Smut. I just realized I'm probably yelling. I'm going to quiet down a little bit because twice my microphone has capped out and gone all buzzy. So we'll continue on a more controlled tone. So yes, I like Mindless Grimdark better than Mindless Smut. Big Mac had a kind of semi-reason. This one's reason was that he found smut magazines, or not even smut, nudie. Okay, he's still 6. He still doesn't understand the concept of sex. So what if they're naked? Well, all ponies are naked, but so what if their legs spread? He doesn't know what that means. This story is not good. And if you want to read it, links below as usual. I don't think I have anything more to say about it, honestly. It's short, it's to whatever point the guy was trying to get to, and that's it. Now, I do have a couple of announcements to do at the end of this, so I'm going to do those right now. I watched season 3, the Discord, was it episode 11? I can't even remember. The episode with Discord in it. And Goodbye Fluttershy makes a whole lot more sense now. So I wanted to say that Goodbye Fluttershy, I am retaking what I said about it. The characters are done to a T. They are done very well. If you take into consideration how long Discord would have had with Fluttershy, and if the friendship would have continued to blossom at the speed that it did, she would have become very close to him. I'm not going to say that this is one of my favorite stories ever, because as I said before, sad fics aren't really my thing, but if they are, that's one you should definitely check out, because, I mean, hey, it might bring a tear to your eye, you might like it, you might enjoy it. So I wanted to say that. I just want to say thank you to the guy who wrote it, whose name I cannot remember off the top of my head, and I don't have any windows open, and it'll take me a while to find. So I'm just going to say thank you to him, because he posted my review down in the comments of his own story, saying how cool it was for someone who's only seen season 2 to review it, because the viewpoint's so different, not knowing how Discord transformed. So that is awesome. I don't know if I mentioned that because it's been a while since I've done any videos, but I just wanted to thank him, and I know I thanked him in chat, and thank him again in video if I thanked him already in video. But yeah, that's a correction on my part. My bad. I should have watched the episode before that. I honestly didn't think that Discord would become good, because honestly I like him more as a chaotic person. But canon, his story's pretty good. So that's it. I just want to say thank you guys for 60-some views. I had an original 50 subscriber milestone video. It was me talking about, I think it was how all of us are dependent on one another, and how the fandom in of itself is dependent on one another, and how we all have to work together and can't disclude someone simply because they're different while making ramen at 4 in the morning. That was the video. And then I woke up the next morning and looked at it and said, wow, I am really messed up. I probably shouldn't post that because I look crazy, crazier than I do, on a regular basis. So that's probably not going to come out. If you really want to see it, I'll put it out, but it's not a 60-some milestone. It'll be a random video of me making a fool of myself, so I guess you can watch that, or I guess if you want to see it, you can. So, thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully I'll get back to making videos soon if I can find more fanfictions that I like, or if I can think of something else I can talk about. So, thank you very much. Have a fantastic day.